Thai Dragon Blackberry Tea Wine. What the heck happened to it? You'll find out today on Happy Chick. Hi everyone, I'm Lee and welcome to Happy Chick. Today we are following up, finally, on the Thai Dragon Blackberry Tea Wine. This is the video that I lost. I had one of my viewers, Linville Couch, I think that's what it is, asked me if there was an update like 2 months ago. And I sincerely apologize that it's been 2 months since, you know, you asked that question. And I'm sure there's a couple other people that were wondering what happened to it. This is the one, just to remind you, got stalled. I don't know why it got stalled. And it stalled at around 9% or so. And it was really like sickly sweet. It was too sweet. I could not. It's like, Well, I had these stupid yeast hulls, and on the package it says, for step fermentation. So I thought, perfect, I'll put some of those in. After a month, nothing. So I resorted to the only thing that I could figure out what to do is to add more yeast. But here's the cravat: you can't just chuck in some yeast into this, because the yeast are going to go, because of the alcohol, because of the high sugar. You have to kind of introduce them. You have to have, like this mating ritual between them. So, and of course, I didn't record that. I did record it, but that's the part I lost. I, for some reason, thought I had already posted it, and, it was all jolly good, and I chucked the video. I'm not a high-tech girl. I record this on my phone, and I only have so much data space on my phone. So once I download it onto YouTube, I chuck it. Well, that's what I thought this was. So, trying to figure out what to do next. Because I do want to let you guys know what I did with this, because we're all learning this, right? Well, not all of you. You probably, some of you probably know more than I do. But it's an adventure. So I'm going to tell you what I did. It's at the stage where afterwards. So it's probably done. It might be on the drier side, but I don't know until I try it. But here we are. I kind of like let it go. I'm a girl that kind of makes it, and month or two later, I'll come back to it, make sure that it's done. I like to make sure things are done. I'm not like, give it a week and is it done kind of thing. So, that's where we're at right now. Let me tell you what I did to get here. That's the lost video. If I'm not spilling something or dropping something, I'm like losing a video. It figures, right? All right, so what did I do to this thing? So I took about a cup's worth of the wine and put it in a sanitized, smaller. You want to put it in something where you can make sure that, buggies can't get into it. You can seal it somehow or cover it with like a cloth, something like that, so that the bugs can't get into it while you're doing this. Because this is going to be like an all-day process, because you don't want to just chuck in the yeast, because then they're just going to go belly up, because there's too much alcohol initially for them to function, and it's also still high kind of in sugar. So you want to slowly incorporate the wine with the yeast. So I started out with like a cup-ish or so of the wine. There's no precise measurements, to be honest with you. Might have been less than a cup. Maybe it was a half a cup of wine. Anyway, it was a small amount. I did dilute it with about a cup of water. because I really wanted this a light, very low alcohol, sugar, for the initial yeast to start working. I did a half package of 71B, and I also did another half teaspoon of the yeast hulls for some nutrition more than anything else, or something to kind of get that going. So it started out at 1050 with a cup of water and all the other stuff. It was at 1044, so it really only dropped minute, really, but it was enough to get the yeast kind of going. So about an hour later, I started incorporating more of the wine, and basically I was just using like a turkey baster amount or 2 squishes at the beginning. Wait about half an hour to 45 minutes to an hour, make sure that it was still kind of working, and then another squish or 2 throughout the day, until I got about halfway through this jug of wine. Well, the other jug of wine. When I was about halfway through transferring the wine into the new jug, I just let it go for a whole night, because it took me almost a whole day to work through this. So I let it rest at that level overnight. And then the next morning, I basically started putting big chunks of liquid in, because by then the yeast should have started kind of building up better, more volume, a larger colony. So I was taking like quarter, every hour, and then I finally transferred the whole shebang back, starting it to put back in to this jug once it all was incorporated. And then I sealed it, airlocked it, and put it away. And it was about a month and a half ago, I checked it. It was not doing anything. So here we are. I made sure, I wanted to make sure that it was done. So it was done probably a month ago, but I had other things going on. So, that's how it goes. So here we are now. We have run through. It's level, no pressure. So I'm thinking it's done. It took, it needed what it's doing. So let's go ahead and check with the hydrometer. I hope that made sense with you guys. If it didn't, comment down below, say what in the heck, and I'll try to explain it again. So let's go ahead and do a specific gravity reading on this. I'm really curious as to what it did. I mean, there is a little bit of a croissant line, not much on this, so it did something. There's negative pressure, so I'm hoping anyway. It probably is not going to be much higher than, I don't think it's bone dry, because I did use this, what did I use, 71, yeah, I used 71B, and I think the max on that is like 15%. That because of the situation with this thing, I don't think we're going to get there. If it gets over 10%, I will be happy. Because, being over 10%, I don't have to worry about turning into vinegar or anything like that. Okay, there she is. She's floating. And we only started at 1050, so... Okay. So, 1044. That's because of the little bit of water that I added to it. So we are at, let's see here. Specific gravity is now at 10. Okay. 1010. 1.010. Not bad at all. Okay. I was thinking it was going to get drier than that, but I was kind of happy. So it might have a little residual sweetness to it. May not have to back sweeten this at all. I don't mind it being a little dry. I don't want it like, you know, where it sucks out every bit of moisture in your mouth. Okay. It still has that blackberry tea, just very faint. The Thai dragon peppers, I think I determined were not hot at all, because these were Thai dragon peppers I put in. I did not put in, what, 2 or 3. They didn't seem to put any heat in at all. And where I got them from, my friend Chloe, she said she had to put in quite a few into a recipe for them to even feel any warmth. So these are like bell pepper, kind of like heat, which is nothing. But I think they do impart some kind of, you know how the peppers kind of have that earthiness to them? When you smell like a bell pepper or something that has that earthiness, it does kind of have a little earthiness to it. Okay. You know, it tastes sweeter than it actually, that initial, the initial taste is very sweet. You know, when you taste a blackberry or, you know, a berry of any kind, it has that sweetness to it. And then it has that little bit of a puckering to it. So it has that little dryness because it is on the dry side. But it also kind of has a tingling, almost like the peppers. Like when you eat something hot, it almost has like that tingling sensation, but then it's not hot at all. It goes away really quickly. And that all happens in like the first few seconds of taking a sip of this. This is an interesting brew. But this, I think having it, aging it just a little bit more, I mean, it's aged quite a bit. Like how much older. But I think a little bit older, the nuances of the peppers will come through. Not the heat, but those flavors. It is an interesting brew. Right, let's go ahead and get this bottled up. Well, we have to transfer it because there is some lees on here, and then bottle it. So let me get that set up there, and then we will be right back. Okay, so I'm set up to transfer from the glass bottle into a pitcher, and then a pitcher into the bottles. I do want to let you know the ABV on that ended up being 13.65. Awesome. I thought it'd be a little bit lower than that, actually. I thought it was going to be like maybe 10, maybe 11% at the most, because they had like a stunted start. But respectable, 13.65. So let's go ahead and get this siphoning away. All right, so as many of you have probably seen me do this before, we're going to siphon from the glass jar into the pitcher. There is a small lees because of the yeast and some other sediments and stuff, so we don't want to go all the way to the bottom, and to avoid that, because we don't want to transfer that, I'm going to put about halfway down and start pumping. I've got my clippy this time, I remembered, and then I'm going to move this pitcher down below so that the gravity helps with sucking the wine down into the pitcher. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going. There we go. All right, let me shove this down here. Well, not shove, but you know. It's not a big line, so I probably can go all the way down when I get a little bit lower, so that I don't lose any more product than I have. We'll see. We'll be back. So now I've got it transferred into my pitcher. I did pick up just a little bit of the leaves at the very bottom, but it shouldn't be too bad at all. Because that the leaves was kind of on the softer side, so that's okay. Let's see now. Let's go ahead and put my bottling wand on the bottom end of the siphon. There we go. All right. And I've got a larger bottle, one bottle that I'm going to give to my friend Chloe. So you get a bottle. I think my brother's going to like a bottle of this too. And then I have another bottle. But I have a bigger quart bottle or so. So I think majority of that is going to go into that one. So let's go ahead and get bottling. Now that I've got the whole shebang out, the leaves and all that, I can drop this all the way to the bottom of my pitcher. And I don't need my clippy. And let's go ahead and fill the one bottle up for my friend Chloe. It's a clear one so you can kind of see it. Alright, so we want to go all the way down into the bottle, and you actually want to make sure that they plunge the, I don't know what that thingy is, the spring-loaded thingy is all the way down. Otherwise, the wine won't flow. So make sure that's all the way down. And of course, these bottles are sanitized. So, and then just kind of pump. I would have did one, you know, with only one person, but there we go, finally. There we go. Isn't that such a pretty color? All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this going, and then we will carry on. Okay, it's all bottled up. I got my 2 gift bottles that I'm going to be giving, and then the leftover, because we lost kind of a little bit of everything, but that's okay. So this is full, and this is full. Yay! So this is the end of, for sure, the Thai Dragon Blackberry Tea Wine. It's been an adventure, and I do apologize for the length of this video coming out. But, you know, life happens, and, you know, wine stalls happen sometimes. But we went through it, we persevered, and we've got some delicious wine in the end. I hope you enjoyed this video, and look forward to the next one. I'll see ya. Bye.